Fins up, OnlyFans, but with a PH, you heard? Yo. White orange and teal, the fins look real, you know it's a deal. There's blood, sweat, and tears, all up in his huddle with water to cook up a meal. My coaching in two where the combo was chill, play action to chase, got hunger to feel. The cheetah is loose, he's going for blood, the end of the race only went for the kill. Miami, the city, the county, the block, we steady impact, tail dead in the lot. Defense is strong and hard as a rock, Holland's a lock, and next one's a spot. Getting too hot, so turn up the fan, you look to the crowd, see Jimmy and Bam, Martin, Joe, and Sosa the mans, your fellas, roll the clip, OnlyFans.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, and welcome back to the channel for another week of OnlyFans, a Dolphins post-game show with reaction, analysis, and a whole lot of heart. Now, before we get this party started, we ask that you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the post notifications to catch our next video. Now, with me today for the post-game recap, we got Joel, the delusional Dolphin. Brother, how you feeling about this game?
About the game, I mean, this wasn't much of a game if so much as it was an ass whooping. So I feel pretty good about this ass whooping.
Absolutely. And bringing the noise and our super Dolphin here on the show, Rax. How you feeling about this game, brother?
Put that smile back on that face, baby. Let's go, man. We don't listen. We're on a cloud right now, baby. Let's get it.
Man, what a difference a week makes, right?
Yeah.
The Dolphins win against the Jets at home to right the things at and make everything right in the world, right? Beat the Jets 30-0. Improve to
zip.
Yeah, man. And we're gonna get to it, but like Joel said, it wasn't really much of a game. It was more of a dominance on behalf of the Dolphins, showing everybody that this is what they can be capable of, even without certain weapons, right? Just to give everybody a heads up, Tyreek Hill did not play today. If not, the score would have been 1,000-0. You know, it felt like the Dolphins were able to put together really good drives, right, and hit on some big plays. But there were some inconsistencies that happened throughout the day. But one thing that was super consistent was the defense. And, you know, kind of weird. The Dolphins didn't win the toss, right? And they had to take the field first. And we had a 5-play drive that resulted in the punt. And then right after that, Jets get the ball, and we see immediately what the defense came out here to do. We got Chubb with the strip sack, recovered by Sealer, the fumble, and then we end up on the Jets 1. And I personally thought he got in, and I was like, damn, dog, they ain't give it to the big man. That would have been 2 back-to-back touchdowns in a week for Sealer, dog.
My God,
they set it up for that boy Raheem, though.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did, man. And even though the first 2 running plays didn't, like, produce any yards, right? Obviously, we got stopped, no gain on the first play. Second play, we got actually a loss of yardage. I like the play calling. And it immediately showed that Mike McDaniel was aware of what he needs to do in order to score points against teams like this, right? You need to be able to run the ball. And on that third attempt, we were able to get it out wide to Raheem. And that boy did that work, dog, as we can see here in the highlight, man. Courtesy of CBS and NFL and Dolphins.
It's one of those things that we said, run the ball. He ran it 3 times in a row. He didn't gain anything the first 2 times, but that third one paid off. I was worried. I was like, please don't throw the ball. Please don't throw the ball. And then he didn't throw the ball, and I was like, see, this is what happens.
And I think the cool shit about it for me, and Joel, maybe you agree or disagree, but like if we see it here, when you got Raheem running to the outside, that's his advantage, I would say, in most cases, right? Because he can use that speed, cut that angle off for the defender, and really make it hard for them to get to him, as we saw in that touchdown highlight.
Yeah, speed kills, baby. You know that's all it is. And if he catches that outside, it's a done deal, man. I was really, impressed with our O-line, just because of how banged up we are. I think we saw Armstead back in the lineup today, which was huge.
Correct.
That touchdown was to the left. No surprise there. So, you like to see that, especially after last week.
Absolutely, man. And look, for me, it was like, all right, this is the type of bounce back, right? You get a first 3 and out where nothing really happens on the first drive of the game, and then you get the opportunity given to you by the defense, and you make something of it. And then on the very next drive, we saw the Jets again, and they try to go for the fake punt on 4th and 6. And in my mind, I'm like, dog, you don't know that this defense is all over you, and you're gonna try to get this dumbass play?
And then the way that they try to run it, like,
yeah,
you're not gonna try to throw it.
I mean, that kind of set the tone for them all day, man. They try to do these silly plays right off the bat, and it was a no-go. And this defense, man, this D-line was not having it today. This D-line was like, you're going to have to run through my chest if you want this, man. And it was not happening.
It felt like the whole defense had a chip on their shoulder after last week. Yes. You know what I mean? After that, like they weren't able to get it. You know, they played great the whole game until we gave up a 14-point lead with 3 minutes left. And it felt like going into this game, you know, these guys kind of had a chip on their shoulder, bro. That D-line showed out today.
And I think that's the attitude they have to play with the rest of the season, right? If we're being truthful here, because we saw the aggression for this defense play off, and mostly around the defensive line, right? We saw Chubb have a career day pretty much, right? Sealer out there putting pressure. Wilkins, with the great game that he'd had, was like the 5th best guy on defense, 6th best guy on defense today. So it was just great to see those guys bounce back, man. And then look, we drove down the field, right? After we get that ball, we drive inside the red zone. We couldn't convert on that 3rd down to keep the drive alive, and Jason Sanders kicked the field goal to put us up 10-zip. Jets go 3 and out again. Chubb with the sack on 2nd down. One of his many. I think he ended the day with 3.5 sacks today, which is just ridiculous. You know what I mean? The defense as a whole had 5 sacks at halftime, and Chubb had
both QBs.
Yeah, because
both QBs, right?
Oh, dog. And then, you know, again, we saw the offensive struggle. Tua got sacked on that 3rd down play, kind of killed our momentum, and we were forced to rely on the defense again. And then again, Sealer with the sack on 3rd down to keep the Jets out of a quick 3 and out where the Dolphins could get the ball back. And then what happened on that was like, I think a light bulb went off in McDaniel's head, because he was like, we're playing kind of conservative. A lot of throws in the slants, a lot of throws underneath. Let's open this shit up. Let's try to get our playmakers with the ball in their hands. And he took that shot downfield and connected with Jalen Waddle. What a throw.
Jalen Waddle had a day today, man. It's
hands down play of the game right here, man. I mean, they did their thing on this one, man. No Tyreek. You know, we knew Waddle was primed for a big game. You know, there he is hitting the Waddle, his celebration, you know, which Steven Ross likes to hit too. You got to love to see the owner, you know, being happy. Yeah, he does it really weird. But you know what? At least he's trying, dog, you know? But yeah, man, you know, there was a lot of pressure going into this game. We saw last week when Tyreek went out, you know, Waddle wasn't able to kind of ignite the offense and do the things that Tyreek does. And then going into this week, it was, you know, what will he be able to bring to the table should Tyreek Hill not be able to play? And sure enough, we found out late today, you know, today, Sunday, that Tyreek wasn't going to play. And we're like, all right, now we're going to see what Waddle's made out of. And we saw a wide receiver 1, if we ever saw him.
Yeah, bro.
Absolutely.
No, that guy's a wide receiver 1 in any team in the rest of the NFL. In any team in the rest of the NFL.
There's a handful of teams that he wouldn't make it on. But yes, I agree with your sentiment. He has that talent, you know, and he's shown that talent here in Miami, right, where he's made big plays prior to Tyreek Hill being here. And even last year when both of those guys were having great runs. It just so happens that Tyreek Hill's run is a little bit better this year, but we wanted Jalen Waddle to step up, right, and be like, yo, if Tyreek goes down, are you going to be able to do number 1 type stuff? Are you going to be able to play consistent? Are you going to be able to run those routes and connect like Tyreek Hill and Tua have? And on that 60-yard play, we saw that. And for Waddle to put up 6 catches, 118 yards in the first half of this game just shows you that he was committed, right, to really, I don't want to say like cleaning up his image or like getting back to what he was, but just reminding people like, yo, I'm here and I'm just as good as these guys. Maybe I'm not world fast like Tyreek Hill, but I'm fast. And if you get single coverage on me, I'm going to blow by you. And look, this was a better angle in my opinion. Go ahead, Rex.
Yeah, he looked at today. That was, you know, today he looked like he had a world-class speed, man. He was hitting, like, this was a great play. But those plays where he was crossing the middle, that he would cut back and then, you know, hit it around the corner, you couldn't catch him. You know, you still couldn't catch him. But
and that's how he went down early again in this game, just like last week. And but he toughed it out. He was like, I got to do what I got to do, and he came back out there.
And you know what? I gotta call Rax out here, dog, because earlier in the season, Rax was a little worried if Waddle was durable enough or that type of guy because he's always getting injured. But he does grown man routes, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Going up the middle, like you were saying, Rex, and coming up with those big catches and not be afraid to go and do it again if he does take a big hit, you know what I mean? And one thing that I wanted to point out here, look at Tua's pocket. Look how much we dominated. Joel said that O-line was balling today. This is it, man. Because once he has that space, it's like Waddle already had 2 steps on Buddy, dog. Like it was disgusting where he had the 2 steps on him. I think it was right here. Let's see.
Placement.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't understand what the Jets were doing either. I mean, they just kept Sauce Gardner on one side of the field. I mean, you know that's our number one this week. Why wouldn't you just have him shadow him? No Xavier Howard today for us. We have Jalen Ramsey shadowing Garrett Wilson the entire game. And what did he do? Not much. I mean, he got a couple of points in garbage time, a couple of yards and catches, but for the most part, Jalen Ramsey had him shut down. I was surprised that the Jets didn't try to do that with Waddle.
Completely shut down. The kid ended up with 3 catches for 29 yards. You know what I mean? And again, it's what you were saying earlier. I think this defense was playing, strap them in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this defense was just playing with a chip on their shoulder today. Because even right after that touchdown drive, they came right back and forced the Jets to punt it again. Quick 5 plays. That means the Dolphins had another opportunity to put up 6 before the half, and they did it. 80-yard drive, putting up another touchdown. Raheem running it in for another score today. That was his 6th game this year. Oh, I got a little bit ahead of myself. My bad, y'all. That was his 6th game this year where he gets in there for a touchdown 2 times. He's only done it 1 more time in his career. So the fact that Raheem Mostert has 6 multi-touchdown games this year just shows you that he can't really be the workhorse. Like maybe his job is not going to get 100 yards every single game and stuff like that. But when it's effective plays, when it's first down plays, when it's touchdown plays, this dude is going to deliver.
Yo, Mostert I saw a stat today that says Mostert has the same amount of touchdowns or more than 4 NFL organizations. Got 20. Steelers have 20. And then I believe the rest of the list was New Orleans, Carolina. I can't remember the other team, but he's got more touchdowns than 4 NFL organizations. Dog.
That's nasty, dog.
And he also set the record for Dolphins. The Dolphins franchise record for most rushing touchdowns in a season.
Bro, that's crazy. Hey, welcome to Forever Being Dolphin, Raheem, baby. Thank you.
The dream.
And that touchdown to Jalen Waddle, I don't know if you guys noticed, it was the 18th offensive touchdown of 20 or more yards this year. It's the most by Miami since 1986.
I'm gonna be doing this all week, dog. Look, right here. I do a sign. I'm gonna be doing. Keep talking. Let's go, baby.
And like you think about how this team needed to respond. This first half was exactly how they needed to respond, right? They did everything they needed to do to shut down the Jets, and they even forced Wilson to go out into the half early because he was feeling dehydrated after getting hit so many times that they brought in Simeon, and he did nothing. They got 3 and out as soon as he got in. At that point at halftime, it was 24-0, right? We had 5 sacks, 6 tackles for a loss. Chubb, like I mentioned earlier, had 2.5 sacks already. The Jets offense had barely crossed the 50, had not crossed the 50-yard line. They had a total of 4 offensive yards. And Tua started the game 14 of 14 and was 5 of 8 on 3rd downs. So everything was pretty much rolling on offense. And then the second half came, and it started to get a little bit harder for the offense. And I'm curious to see what your guys' opinion was, because after the Jets go 3 and out, Tua got sacked on 2nd down. We converted the 4th down to Waddle, but we couldn't convert the touchdown. From that play. I want to know what you guys thought about the offense in the second half.
I mean, I personally, I kept looking at it as like, in my head, I just wanted them to run the ball all second half. And if we're being realistic, Tua hadn't, accurate, he was good. I think he was like, 22 for 24 or something like that?
21 of 24, pretty good.
21 of 24, but only for like 240 yards or something like that.
24 with a touchdown and 3 sacks.
So that 3 sacks, but 224 yards, average kind of. For me, I expect Tua to throw over 300 plus every time he touches the ball, dog. But I don't know. Give
him a little bit of slack, right? They did take him out with about 8 minutes in the game. You know what I mean? Right. And that made a big difference because by that time we had already kicked another field goal to make the game 30-0, and we hadn't allowed the Jets to cross the 50-yard line until about 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
Serious, bro, they had not crossed the side of the field. We held them to the side of the field plenty of times, and I kept loving that.
That play right there that you guys just saw helped out. That was Brandon Jones, I think, 2nd interception of the day. That really killed any type of momentum or any type of hope the Jets had of coming back into this game. You spoke about Chubb today, man. Just seeing him play like this You know what I mean? That was seeing him play like this makes me miss Jalen Phillips even more, dog.
Yeah.
Right? Because those guys had really something special going on, and it would have put us in that upper echelon of defenses that are going to be left in the playoffs. And damn, dog, but this is the type of energy we need to see him play with. Me, myself, I was a little bit concerned that the offense was only able to put up 6 points in the second half. Granted, we still sat to it with 8 minutes left, but I would hope that we would have got a touchdown, you know what I'm saying, becoming as we were getting so close, you know what I mean? Because I knew that the defense was doing its job today no matter what.
I'm not too worried about it, bro. It's the game script. You know what I mean? This team, they didn't bring anything to us. If they would have made it a little competitive, you know, who knows? We probably get a little bit more production. But when you're up that big already, it's just a matter of protecting the lead. And we saw that. You know, we saw some coaching changes this week, you know, from McDaniels and what he did late in the game to try to keep drives alive and keep the ball out of the Jets' hands. And Chubb, man, I got to give him props because I was kind of hard on him last week because he picked up that stupid penalty. Throwing his helmet, slamming it on the ground, cost us a touchdown, essentially, you know, who ultimately could have made the difference against Tennessee. And he played the biggest game of his Dolphins career today. Granted, against not a great Jets defense, but you got to have it. We need it. Buffalo won today. The division race is still tight. 2 games ahead of Buffalo with 3 games remaining, and they're one of the 3 on the schedule. You know, we needed this. This was a must win.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Rex.
No. I'll save this for later.
I was going to say that, you know, we need to be a team that has the blinders on right now, you know, and we need to be focused on what we do best and how we can improve on that. Today was an example of that. We ran the ball 28 times versus 24 attempts of throwing the ball, and most of that was after Tua got out. But we were running the ball effectively, and we weren't scared to run it in tight moments, right? Where we needed to be a little bit more physical. And I think that this is turning a page for Mike McDaniel to be like, look, bro, you can win without throwing the ball 30 to 35 times. I get it. We have all the weapons on the outside, but those weapons become much more valuable when we can run it. And Mostert is showing you that he can carry the load. Achane is showing you that he can carry the load because there was 2 runs that kid had in the fourth where they pretty much stopped him in the backfield, and he was so persistent that he ran the ball and continued to get ahead and get yardage and get first downs and move the chain. Dude, like these dudes are motivated, and I think McDaniel learned something from last week to this week as far as running the ball, man. I was really happy to see us run the ball a lot more today. It didn't look as flashy. Granted, we didn't have Tyreek Hill, but when you don't have those weapons, do what you can do great, and that's running the ball for us, in my opinion.
It's okay, bro. I would have preferred Tyreek to start a game like this, and we can have him for later on than have him play against the Jets. But it's like, all right, it's a division game, but I think the rest of our team can handle the Jets. We got you, Tyreek.
Yeah.
You know,
and not just that too. I mean, we had questions last week when Tyreek went out. You know, it was a whole different game, and then immediately gets on the field and then impact. And it was like, oh, man, if we don't have Tyreek, who's looking like the clear-cut MVP, not just of this team, but of the league, what are we going to do? And this was a big confidence boost, I think, especially, you know, Dallas just got their asses handed to them by Buffalo. So we play them next week, Christmas Eve. I think this gives us a lot of confidence if Tyreek is not available, which I think he should be available from here on out. Saw him walking today and all that, so he should be good. But if he's not available at any point in time, you have confidence now that you can get it done with everybody else that's there. You have a winning unit.
And more importantly, Joel, and you guys let me know what your thoughts are on this, is Tua was building rhythm today with other wide receivers. Completed 21 passes to a bunch of guys. He hit Jalen Waddle a bunch. He hit Durham Smythe, a tight end, caught 4 passes today. You know what I mean? Devon Achane, 3 catches. We saw Chase Claypool come into the game and make some catches, right? Cedric Wilson, same thing, coming in and making some catches. That's what I wanted to see. Again, the improvement from Mike McDaniel from one week to another, where he really takes a look at his playbook and say, with the talent that I have, what's the best way that I can do this? And look at that, man. When you're spreading the ball like that, Tua is feeling more comfortable. The defense have a harder time keying in on guys, and you know, it just makes even Jalen Waddle get more open because Rack said it in the beginning of the show. Waddle was wide open in the middle all day, and that's because they had to cover the rest of the guys that were out on the outside because they were making catches and plays as well.
Absolutely, bro. Like, I mean, what I was gonna say for later was, I just hope this doesn't get in their head. I hope they come out with the same intensity next week too, because if that same team plays Dallas, it'll beat Dallas hands down. Like I don't think that team doesn't beat Dallas. And
let's talk about Dallas.
Let's talk about
what are your thoughts, Rax, on Dallas? They just come off a bad loss, like Joel said. This is a team that's going to come in fighting for their playoff position just as well, right? How should we approach this game? You know, same mentality on defense, or should we try to go after them on offense?
I mean, their number one thing is what they say. They got defense, bro. They say that they have one of the best defenses. I think we don't really attack these corners and we keep running the ball like we're doing today. But I also think that D-line is going to have to do what it does. I think we have to bring the same intensity we brought today to Dallas, bro. There is no easing off. There is nothing different. If you bring this play calling and you bring this team that you brought today against the New York Jets, and you play Dallas, I personally believe we win this game.
What are your thoughts, Joel?
Two things. That D-line, if we can get to Dak, I think that takes a lot out of it. Their offensive line, I think Zach Martin might have got hurt today. Tony Pollard has been a little suspect this year. They've really relied, on the heavy pass to CeeDee Lamb and company. And if we can get to Dak Prescott and cut him off, that should be big for us. And then on the opposite side of that, we got to protect Tua. They have a guy by the name of Micah Parsons who is an elite pass rusher, and we got to make sure that we can contain that guy. And if we can do that, if we can get the ball out quick enough and we can protect Tua, 3 sacks, I want to see no sacks next week. You know what I'm saying? And if we can do that, I think we have a really good shot at beating these guys.
No, for sure. I think that's a great point. And the only thing that I would add to that is winning the turnover battle, right? We know that Dak has been prone to make mistakes and we can capitalize on them. But when we do get those mistakes, let's go ahead and put points on the board, whether it's 3 or 7, whatever, let's put points on the board. Because those opportunities don't come that often. And also, we have to be careful not turning the ball over, right? You mentioned Micah Parsons. This is a dude who's up there, top 10 in sacks, a guy who's proving he can get to the quarterback, can create plays, big dude, hard to stop. And even in their backfield with Bland, he's has 8 interceptions on the season. A guy who's, for this season, has a nose for the ball, and the ball seems to find him. Tua can't afford to be, errant with his throws. Like, he has to really be precise on Sunday versus the Cowboys, because it's going to be a primetime game, and it's going to be a game that the nation is going to be watching. All eyes are going to be on us. They're going to be coming off a loss. We're going to be coming off a win, and we're going to have to play our best football, playoff football. If we're talking about when does the playoffs start for the Dolphins, in my opinion, it starts right now, because we got this win over a division opponent. Great. We got one more win to get over a division opponent before we can check that off the list. But before we get that opportunity, we got to take care of Dallas and continue to cement our position in the AFC before we play another team who we're fighting for that position, which is Baltimore, on the road, before we finish the season here against Buffalo.
Just reminded me it was a primetime game, dog.
We're gonna have to break out the good whiskey that night, boys.
Oh my God! We're already going to be pretty sauced up for Noche Buena. So
hopefully it is a Noche Buena.
You feel me? It should be a tough game. I like that. I want to see how this team responds. I want to see how Coach McDaniels attacks this Cowboys team. And I want to see what Santa brings for the Dolphins on Christmas Eve, man.
We're playing at home, right?
Playing at home.
Yeah, we're playing at home. Okay. Playing at home. Gotta feel comfortable about that, dog.
The next 3 games are at home, or do we play Baltimore on the road?
Baltimore is on the road.
So home, away, and then home to close out the season against Buffalo. Yeah. All right. Well, I hope I'm looking at the year backer right there, Rax, and I hope the Jags do their part and upset the Ravens today. That'd be nice.
6-1 at home, boys. 6-1 at home. That's all I gotta say, man.
We should be 7-0.
We should be 7-0. But yeah, it is what it is. You got to feel confident about this next game against the Cowboys. But we're gonna bring it to you, and we're gonna bring you this post-game recap without a doubt. Joel, Rax, you know the deal, man. I appreciate y'all boys, man, as always. And I appreciate you, the listener, for checking in, subscribing to the channel, and telling a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about OnlyFans. We still got these shirts for sale. Holla at your boy. Shoot me an email or shoot an instant message. A DM. What am I saying? Instant message. A DM on Instagram. It's your boy, So. Peace.